Hello and welcome to the Ellen Maid Book Club and another reading vlog. I'm trying to be a bit better about doing reading vlogs this year and sort of documenting what I read for the Diversity Book Bingo, like first and foremost, but like I just throw everything in here. First of all, I have read another short story in this collection, The Grandmothers by Doris Lessing. There are 4 stories in this collection, and the first one is the title story, The Grandmothers, and that one was really good. I really loved the writing and I loved the story itself. It was very taboo, I guess. The second story is called Victoria and the Staveneys, I want to say, and it's also very well written, but I kind of felt like it was a waste of time. Like, it doesn't really have, you know, beginning, middle, and end. It's just sort of a slice of life, I guess, and just, you know, following a character a few years, but like there's no conclusion or anything. The story ends with, yes, I have to face it. That is what will happen. And I'm like, what kind of an ending is that? It's about a girl called Victoria, and she is Black, and she meets this family that is white. She's 9, I think, and something happens with her family members, and so the boys from the white family are told to like pick her up from school, and so she comes home with them after school, and it's sort of a different world from what she's used to. They're a lot better off financially, and so she just comes into their house and it's just like, where's all the people? Like, there has to be more people living here because it's so big, and like, do you have more rooms? We just have one. I think this story could have been good. Like, it's a, you know, a story worth telling, and even though it's not an own voices story, you know, Doris Lessing is not a Black woman, but it just doesn't have any, you know, it doesn't have any purpose. It doesn't have any clear message or goal or like ending to the story. It's just, that's life kind of thing. And it almost felt like reading like a practice, like a section of something that was supposed to be something else, or like a draft or something. Not that it doesn't feel finished or polished writing wise, but just like the story as a whole, it just doesn't really take off. It doesn't leave an impact. It's just a little glimpse into a life and then it's over. I don't know. I'm glad to have gotten a little bit further in this book. I only have 2 stories left now, so hopefully I can finish this year. I don't want to be reading 1 short story a year in this collection, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get to the next 2 stories. Maybe 1 in March and 1 in April. We'll see. I'm also reading The Maid and the Crocodile by Jordan Ifueko, and I also have the audiobook for this. I think the audiobook is very well done. She does all of the like accents. She does little singing things when they're singing in here, and like that's part of the sort of magic in here, and so that works very well. And this is young adult fantasy, which is not always something that works for me, but this one seems to. Like, so far I'm enjoying it, and it feels like there's a story, and it feels fantastical. Like, it feels like it has elements from real life. It feels like it's set somewhere in Africa, but then it also feels like fairy tale or like folklore. I'm only like 50 pages into it, but I'm having a good time so far. I'm liking the writing style, and I'm liking just the atmosphere, I think, and little details that it's picking up on in the descriptions of things. And yeah, the story follows a young girl called Sade, and she has just turned 17, so she has to move out from the orphanage where she lived, and tries to find work as a maid because she's also a curse eater. And so when she goes to clean, she can sort of absorb bad spirits and like bad energies from the places that she cleans. And then she meets this god Crocodile, and she accidentally like binds herself to him. I'm very intrigued to see where it's going. It feels like an adventure reading it. Like, I have no idea where it's going or what's gonna happen. I love that. It doesn't feel predictable, and it doesn't feel like anything else I've read before. So yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. And then I've also started, I think I'm on page like 25 or something, in We Don't Talk About Carol by Kristen L Berry. This is a mystery novel about a family, a woman and her aunt Carol went missing, but nobody speaks about her, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her. So far we have met the main character, Sydney, her sister Sasha, and their mother. They are clearing out the paternal grandmother's house, and they learn that there was an aunt called Carol who went missing in the 60s. There were 6 girls that went missing in a sort of 2 or 3 year period from the same place. Nobody knows what happened to those girls, and nobody knows what happened to Carol, who is the aunt. And these women didn't even know that Carol even existed. It's very early in this, but I'm enjoying it so far. I've also started listening to a nonfiction book called Rare Tongues, the secret history of, or like the hidden history, I don't know. It's about languages, the secret stories of hidden languages. So it's about languages that are either like extinct or about to be, like they're at risk of dying. It's not a very long book, and I'm about 25% through so far, and we've already like covered a couple different areas. I really liked that it started with Latin, because that's a language that I have studied myself, so it was really easy to sort of get a sense of what level this book is at, and like how deep it goes into like the grammar and things. I don't think you would listen to this book if you weren't into languages, and if you are, then you probably are familiar with grammar, like grammatical terms. It's talking about languages as a social phenomenon, and like what goes into a language dying or becoming extinct in different ways. Education and, you know, socioeconomic factors, colonialism and genocide. Like there are lots of different ways that a language can die or become extinct. And so yeah, I find it fascinating. It doesn't go super deep into each of the different languages, but it does bring up examples and like explaining certain sounds and stuff like that from different languages, which is really cool. Dipping into different places and different languages and looking at the situation surrounding the language. And yeah, I find it very interesting. Today is Saturday, and I need to get out of the house because my boyfriend has some projects that he wants to work on and he wants some privacy. So I'm gonna go into town, and it's getting kind of late already. Things are not open for very long, but I'm gonna try to get to the library perhaps, or maybe a bookstore. I've started My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, which I feel like a lot of people are reading right now. It just came out and I'm listening to the audiobook. I think I'm about 60% through or something. And I'm going to listen to that in the car. I'll talk more about that later, but now I need to get going before everything closes. It's now about a week or so later, and I have finished most of the books that I was going to read in this vlog. I have finished We Don't Talk About Carol by Kristen L Berry. I think it has a great mix of mystery and like investigation and going around, you know, talking to people and finding pieces of evidence and like solving a mystery, balanced with a lot of like relationships, family dynamics. It also deals with infertility and discussions about having kids or not. I think it's very well written in the sense that it's very easy to read. Like the text just flows very well. It's very quick to read. It's nothing too like advanced or complicated in the text itself, which I really appreciate. Like I enjoyed the writing and I liked the sort of metaphors or like little descriptions and things that were included in it. So yeah, I just definitely think it's a well-written book without like trying to make the writing itself the main thing. Like the main thing is the story and then the writing is good too. So yeah, this is one that I would highly recommend. I am going to count this for the diversity book bingo and I'm putting it on the debut prompt because this is a debut. I also finished My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, which is a thriller, and it's about this woman who comes back to her house after a run and another woman opens the door and says that she's her. And it's all very weird. And so she's trying to figure out who this woman is and why she's pretending to be her and why her husband is playing along and why her key doesn't fit the house door, and yeah, it just goes on this wild ride of trying to figure out what's happening. I thought it was an entertaining and like engaging read, and there are little twists and turns and little reveals along the way that, you know, makes you think differently and like you're shifting suspects and people's motives become clear over time. And so like it's an engaging thriller, but having finished it, it also kind of felt like a waste of time. Like it's I don't know, it's entertaining during listening, but it doesn't like leave you with anything afterwards, which is fine, and like sometimes that's what you need, but it's not one that I would say like this is a fantastic thriller and like you have to read it and it changed my life and blew my mind, and like no, it's fine for entertainment, and then at the end you're like, what? I'm still glad I read it. I have been wanting to try Alice Feeney as an author. I was a bit confused though, because I had only seen this picture of this author, and so I thought she was a person of color, and so that's why I thought that's perfect for my diversity book bingo, because I picked this for the lock and key prompt on the bingo board. But then I saw a short on Suey's channel at Suey's Book Banter, and I was like, she looks very white, and so I did some more digging. Turns out she's not a person of color at all. She's just very tan in that picture. So I felt a bit stupid for that, but you know, that happens. I'm keeping it on the prompt on the bingo board for now, like penciled in, but I might switch it out for another book, because I do have a book by an Australian author that I have been wanting to read that also has a lock and key on it. At least I have a book finished for that square for now, and then we'll see if I decide to switch it out or not. What else? Yeah, I also finished Rare Tongues by Lorna Gibb. It was just really interesting. It's not like a, you know, super deep dive into things, and I don't feel like I like absorbed lots of things that I'm going to remember forever, but it was a very like enlightening read in the sense that like it's connecting languages to a lot of other issues, like environmental issues and like education and politics and conflicts and war and just so many things that are related to language in one way or another. Like they affect each other. And then there were also like little details about different languages and like different sort of words and like how the grammar is structured like very surface level. I still really enjoyed it, and I think I might want a physical copy because the chapters are really short, and I just feel like it would be a fun book to sort of flip through and just like go back to certain chapters and like certain sections where it talks about, you know, language in connection to environment or like ecological issues, or, you know, specifically conflicts or things like that. And so yeah, I think it would be a fun book to have, and I really enjoyed it. So that's one that I would highly recommend as well. I've also continued to read The Maid and the Crocodile by Jordan Ifueko, and I'm about, I don't know, 60 or 70% through, and I'm enjoying it so far. I don't think I'm gonna finish it in this vlog because I want to wrap this up now, and I think this is going to take me another week or so. I'm enjoying it, and it's a cozy vibe. It's not very like high stakes, or it doesn't feel very urgent, so it's not one that I'm like eager to get back to see what's going to happen. It's more just like when I want something to listen to or to read that's like just a nice vibe. I have been feeling more like I need some like thrillers or something like a little bit more engaging sort of reads, but this is nice to have to like mix it up with, so I can go back and forth between something more intense and then this one, which is more like, I wouldn't say it's exactly heartwarming, but it is YA, and you know, there are little animal creature characters that speak so you know, it has a bit of a comforting vibe to it, but there's also some commentary about like privilege and guilt and yeah, just lots of dynamics that it sort of comments on, which I find really interesting. And yeah, the story is interesting too, but it's not one that I'm like super invested in. I don't know, I think that's just maybe where I'm at with fantasy at the moment. Like I do care about the characters and some things that it talks about in here, but I care about it more in terms of like the parallels to real life. We're gonna have to wait for my January and February wrap up, I think. I think I'm gonna do a combined video for those books. Let me know if you have read any of these books or if you have read anything else for the Diversity Book Bingo. I would love to hear about that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.